Hey, and welcome to the pre-class of Mongo CRUD operations. So far we have seen how to install the MongoDB and how to get started with it, and what is the basic of theory in databases, what is collection, what's a table or a document or a database, and so on, right? What we are going to start with today is how to get started with the development itself, how to store the data, get the data, and update it and delete and so on, all the other basic operation and few other features that MongoDB provides you. Okay, so what we have here is in front of us is we don't have actually any database. So first thing I'm going to do is create a new database, right? By default, you should get these three databases out of the box. Even if they are not there, it's fine. But you don't want to touch these databases. Whenever you want to store a new data, you should create your own database first, depending on what are the use cases. Now, let's imagine we are trying to store some users database. So I'll be creating a new database called as users. To create a new database, the command for that is use and give the name of the database. If this database exists, it will be created for you. If it doesn't exist, if it doesn't exist, it will be created for you. If it exists, it will be used. So this command will just basically like switch to that database. Okay, now you can see the prompt has been changed. So now we are on users database. This will help you knowing which database we are using at the moment. So now what we want to do is we want to store multiple users, their all the other information, right? You cannot start storing the documents in the database directly. You have to create first collections. A collection is nothing but group of similar type of documents. So all the user related information you can store in a collection called as, let's say, users. Another like one more collection called as users. All the, let's say, salary related, the employment related information you can store in an employment collection, and so on. And that's why we need collections. And to create a collection, what we need is we need to first there is one way to do this is like db.create collection and give it a name and like users collection or something like that. Now if you get like okay one in return, that means it was a success. So the other way to, now if you see the list of collection, just like show dbs, we have show collections, like there is a users collection. Now the other way to achieve this same thing is by directly inserting the data in whichever collection you want to be created. So if the collection name users info, if this collection doesn't exist, it will be created for you when you're trying to insert data in it, which you're going to see it soon. But this is obviously not recommended way. But MongoDB is a little bit forgiving. Even if there are some mistakes like that, it may be it will create the collection for you. But obviously, if you can guess, the creating such collections dynamically without knowing if they already exist or not can lead to lots of misunderstanding about the data. And also, this is never a suggested way to create a collection. Always create a collection like this, and so that you know if the collection exists or not. Right now we have the users collection. Now what we can do is we can start inserting the data in it, right? The first step on any database is how do you insert some data in the documents in the collections, okay, or the rows in the table. And for SQL, in MongoDB, like so far as you have seen, apart from few commands like show dbs, show collection, every single thing, if you notice this, it's nothing but a JavaScript function, right? DB is an object, and create collection is the function that we are passing a name to it, name of the collection. It's exactly JavaScript function. If you press tab, you see all the other JavaScript objects are available for you, including that. Let's say we have big int, we also have string, promise, proxy, regular expression, symbol. All these are coming from JS. Apart from that, then we have a few other things that are coming from MongoDB itself, just like this dbref or eJSON, right? These are not Node.js these are not Node.js classes. So this REPL gives you access to all these Node.js classes as well as MongoDB classes all together. And what you will be writing, the entire MongoDB API is nothing but JavaScript functions. All you're going to learn is which function to call to do what. It's that simple. So if you have guessed, like here onward, it's pretty simple. If you want to insert the data, all you have to do is db dot. Where do you want to insert? In the users collection. So type in the name of collection. So db dot users collection dot insert. So insert is the command. It has been deprecated for a long time, and it was replaced with either insert many or insert one, just to be specific. If you are going to use, if you want to use, like if you want to insert multiple records, like array of objects, where each object is considered as one document, what you can do is you can use insert many. If you just want to insert one document, you can use insert one. This is important for MongoDB so that it can decide on optimization techniques. So if you want to insert something, just one document in a users collection, you'll be using insert one command. Now what you can do is you can just give the object format whichever structure you want. And what MongoDB will do is it will take this entire structure as a JSON object, and it will convert it to its internal serialization format called as BSON, binary serialization object notation. And it's going to convert it to BSON and it's going to store it. Now, if I just create a simplest form, like name is equal to John, okay? Remember, you can store anything. This object could be anything, totally up to you. What I get is I get acknowledged true. That means it was successful. But what is this apart from that? So this is nothing but no matter which document you'll be using, MongoDB by default creates a ID for it. Now what we inserted name is equal to John, nothing else. Remember, how do you get the data back? We run db dot users collection, the collection name dot find. What find function will do is it will get each and every document out of this user collection. It will give that to you. So if you see, what we have here is we have an array of one object. One object is fine because we inserted one object only in users collection, right? But what is this ID, object ID, and some random numbers? And then we have our name is equal to John, which was our data. This will keep on happening no matter what you are inserting. So if I insert one more record, Jack, age is equal to 23, and let's say credit score is equal to whatever, 700, and married is equal to false. No matter what you insert, you see, you get the acknowledgement, but apart from that, you also get the ID, something called as object ID in return. So the second record was Jack. So if I get all the records, now you have two different records in your entire users collection. And even though you inserted name, age, credit score, and married, you're also getting another underscore ID key here automatically. So what is that? So what MongoDB does is there is some concept called as indexing. Now this indexing is roughly same as what you see on a when you're reading a book. Remember, there is that whenever you read a book, no matter what book it is, academic or a storybook, at the start, the first page of any book is called as index, right? Or prefix or something like that, where we have the list of topics and where is each topic is on which page each topic is to, right? So you're going to have, let's say, a topic 1, it's on page number 1. Second topic, it's on page number 5, and fifth topic is on page number 10. The way that this helps us on a book is we can directly jump to a topic based on that page number and topic relation, right? So if I want to just read this, I can directly open page number 10, go there and start reading about this. This indexing is roughly same. If you want to get just one object, if you just want to retrieve Jack, you don't have to go through each and every object and check if this object's name is Jack, if the second object's name is Jack, if the third object's name is Jack. No. What MongoDB does is MongoDB has assigned a specific unique ID to each and every collection. This ID will act as a direct pointer to this object so that MongoDB does not need to scan each and every key of each and every object. Now MongoDB knows that this ID belongs to name Jack, age 23, credit score 700, and married false object, right? Remember, MongoDB doesn't care about the actual Jack person. MongoDB cares about the data itself. Now this ID is pointing to this object. So whenever you want to find this, all you have to do is find this ID. If you find this ID, you have the information. So this helps MongoDB speed up the find operations, the get operation, filter, sort, and limit, all the operations very, very quickly. You don't have to scan each and everything, okay? So that's why we have this something called as object ID. Object ID is a data type from MongoDB. MongoDB provides many such data types, including standard JavaScript data types, plus many of these such data types that you have in the MongoDB itself, okay? So this is nothing but indexing. You can also decide which key to index as well. If you know that you don't have to always have the ID, you can decide that you want user to be found by name. Okay, so you can decide that if you want. So now this is how the insert one works. Whenever you have some data, you can insert it through insert one. What if you have multiple data? So let's say I have here copied. So it's an array of objects. So let me just a sec. So I'm going to copy it from somewhere. So this is this, you see I have array of object where each object is just one user with ID, username, email, address, phone. I took this information from the JSON placeholder website. If you want, you can take it from there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert all of them into my database. Now, obviously inserting 10 records. So because I had 10 records, inserting 10 records, right? At the end, 233 lines. So I did 10, and inserting 10 records in just one by one is not feasible. So what you can do is you can just run db.userscollection.insert many. What this command takes is it takes the array. So all you have to do is copy your array, paste it. It's going to take some time, but now you have pasted array and just finish the function. So now you're giving multiple documents. So this is one document for MongoDB, and this is another second document for MongoDB. MongoDB will take each and every document one at a time. It will keep on inserting all of them together. So now if you press enter, now you get the acknowledgement true, but inserted IDs are now 10 different IDs, 0 to 9, right? So and every one of them have unique keys. They look same till this point, but at the end you see 6E, 6F, 7071, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? These are hexadecimal numbers. So each and every one of them have specific unique ID associated with it. So if you get all the records, db.userscollection.find, you see your data inserted as well as new ID associated with each and every one of them. So this is about how do you insert some database. Now, next thing is how do you get the data back? But before that, let's learn about update. So you have, let's say, pick any record. Now, let's say this 10th record, because we can see it easily. The 10th record, you decided that you don't, maybe the email address is wrong. You want to make it like, let's say, small case, or just change the domain name or whatever. However it is wrong, you want to update the record. The update function works like this. It's going to be the same way no matter what, db.userscollection, because that's on this collection inside this DB, I want to do some operations. So db.userscollection. If you have guessed, the command function name is update. Now it's just like insert. There is no just one update. It's going to be either update many or update one, just like insert, right? Now here onwards, it will be very easy. If you have guessed, like you know you need to update one, so you'll be just giving update one command. Now, so how do you decide like which one to update? So update one function takes two arguments. The first one is the filter, like how to find the object that you want to update, right? Because obviously we cannot say like just update the 10th ones, like, MongoDB will not know automatically which one to update. So the first argument, we have to specify how to find the object that we want to update. And the second argument is, once you find that object, how do you update it? Do you want to replace it? Do you want to delete a key? Do you want to add new keys? Do you want to change the data of existing keys? How do you want to do that? So the way that you find the object first is you give the structure that you want. Okay, so you want to find, let's say, based on ID 10. You have this, remember this underscore ID and this ID is different. This is just an internal key, not internal. This is the key that we gave, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can find based on this ID as well. You can find based on name as well. But remember, it has to be unique. You cannot find based on something like city, right? Cities may not be unique because city can be common for all of them. So think about any feature that is unique for this user. You can absolutely go with ID, name, username. If I can see the data, I don't think username will be common. But address, phone number, I wouldn't recommend, right? So even phone number is fine, but yeah, the most unique is 100% going to be the ID, right? So just give the structure like this. So what MongoDB will do is it will find the object whose ID is 10, as simple as that. If you want a user to be found by name, it's going to be like name is equal to Clementina, like this. So just like that. So now what MongoDB will do is it will find a document whose name is Clementina. Okay, as simple as that. Let me stick to ID because it's easy to read anyway. So ID is equal to 10. Now, once we found the object whose ID is 10, how do you update it? You cannot directly give the entire structure here. What MongoDB gives you is a special thing called as operators. So that you can decide that do you want to replace, do you want to update, do you want to delete, and so on. The most common operator you'll be using is $set. Okay. Remember, you don't give the entire object to update. You don't want to do that every time, right? Now, the second object, now you can tell MongoDB that I want to set this part. Whenever you find ID 10, set this object on that document. Now you can write anything here. Either write the entire object that you want, or just write the keys that you want to add, you want to replace. And if you have guessed, let's say you already have email, so you want to change the email, just write email. What MongoDB will do is whenever it finds the object with ID 10, is going to set email on that object. Email already exists. So what ultimately will happen is it will replace this value with whatever you are providing, right? Remember, one key cannot be same in two keys cannot be there same in single object, right? So if you are giving email, it's going to try to set email on this one. Email already exists. It will replace that with this email. If it doesn't exist, let's say, so if you're trying to give something like, let's say now, I don't think they have salary. So you're trying to give salary. So whenever Mongo finds an object with ID 10, is going to set salary on that object. It doesn't exist, so it will be just set. Okay, so it will not replace anything. So I'm going to try, I want to replace email from Ray to, let's say, Sachin.Tendulkar@cricket.com, right? So if I press enter, you get the acknowledgement true. That means it was successful. Inserted ID nulls, that means it found the document. It does not have to insert a new document like this. Okay, so match count 1, that means it was able to find a document with ID 10, and then it modified it. Okay, so it got match whose count is 1, and it modified match is 1. That means it was able to successfully update the document. Now, if I check the data, db.users collection.find, you see object 10 email is Sachin.Tendulkar@cricket.com. Similarly, I can also, like I said, you can insert a new key as well. So like, so if, let's say same thing, salary is equal to something 100,000. And now you have one match count 1, modified count 1. That means it was successful, salary 10,000 or whatever, right? So this is how you can update the data. There is also, let's say, if you don't want to just update, how would you replace the entire document? What you will have to do is you'll have to give each and every key, right? Remember, so if you are just giving this, it will be, Mongo will just try to update or insert this key into the document. What if you don't want all the rest of the keys, right? You don't, you decided to change the structure. You don't want to update, you want to replace the entire thing. So for that, we have a specific function called as users collection dot replace one. Okay, it is going to take the same structure. Find, how do you want to find the object based on its ID, and whatever the structure that you give, it's going to be replacing that entire structure with the given object. Let me check if it takes this set as well. So if I give set to empty object, replacement document must not contain atomic operator. So it's going to be the entire object like this. Right? So it does not take any operator, because whenever you find a document with ID 10, just replace it with this entire thing, because there is nothing to set or something on it, right? It's going to be replacing entire object. So now entire 10th document should be gone. Gone as in like the data should be gone from it. So now there is 10th, but it does not have anything. This was supposed to be our 10th object. It was replaced with, because you see 9, and after that we had 10, it had object ID, but we replaced it with entire empty thing. Similarly, you can just say find ID 9 and try setting a totally new object on it. Let's say birthday is equal to 1st Jan. Okay, so it matched the ID 9, it found the object with ID 9, and it changed the content with birthday, only this part. So it was entirely replaced. Remember that. That's the difference between update one and replace one. If I get all the data, 9th object is now just birthday. Everything is gone. Okay, so that's how the update works. So the next operation is simply delete. So let's say you, again, you must have, if you have guessed, it's going to be very, very easy. So if you want to delete an object, if like update one can delete of update one, if insert one can insert one, delete also has the same flavors, delete one and delete many. So if you give the delete one, all you have to do is how to find that object to be deleted. You want to try to delete ID 8, you can say ID 8. Okay, acknowledgement true, deleted count 1. So ID 8, Nicholas, is completely gone from the database. 7, and remember these 9 and 10. One more important thing you can find, if you don't have such unique keys, which is why you can absolutely use these IDs as your unique to find these objects, right? So imagine this object, 7th object Curtis, does not have anything unique except name, and you don't want to type long name, right? You can absolutely find this object based on this ID. As long as you have this ID, how do you find something based on, so you want to delete that or update or anything, you can use that underscore ID as a finding criteria, because you know 100% it's going to be unique for each and everything. You don't have to rely on your information. So the way that you can do that is, if you see this looks like a string, it's not a string. Remember, I said it's a specific data type. So the way that you have to use that is the same way, object ID, and give the object ID here. Oh, I copied the entire thing. So, okay, 74, and then bracket close. Yeah. Now, what you can do is you can find the object based on its unique object ID. And not only that, it's also going to help MongoDB to jump to that specific object, because now the way that you're finding objects now are based on IDs. For ID, whenever you're using ID name, what were you doing is you're scanning each and every object. Now you don't have to do that. You have ID, MongoDB can directly jump to that. Everything else is going to be the same, but now it is the indexed object. Okay, now if you try to get the object again, there is no 7th object. You have 6 and then 9 and 10. Okay, so that is how you can update, delete. The many operations work the same way. Nothing changes there. You just give the array, right? So just like insert. Now we have seen create, update, and delete. Now, how do you get the data back? If you haven't noticed, so far we have been getting the data back all the time, right? Find is nothing but the function that gives you the data back. Now, find is a huge function, which is the reason I kept it at the last. Find is not a small function, because not every time you'll be getting each and everything in your database, right? Your database is going to be like petabytes huge. It's not feasible to get like every single thing out. Even for a few 100 MB database, it could be the at least few million fields, few million documents. You don't do that. You can, that's why MongoDB gives you so many functions to get selective documents back. You have the users information. So by default, obviously users collection dot find works. But if you see press tab here, there are other operators as well. Find one and replace, find one, update and delete. So not only you can use find and replace, you can also use the other variants like update instead of that. So if you want to update one, you can obviously use find and update. Okay, it's find one and update. It's gonna be doing the same job. Now what we want to do is we want to selectively find one only and find one. You don't want to replace it, delete it, update it, or anything. You just want to find one object. So the way that you can do it is by simply giving the structure of your object that you wanted, just like you have been doing for updates filter, update and deletes filter. Just give the argument, the structure here. So what do you want to find? You want to find a user whose ID is 6, Mrs. Dennis. So ID 6. That's it. So what it's going to do is it's going to find all the users whose ID is 6. Remember, it does not know that it's going to be just one user with ID 6. We know that, but MongoDB doesn't. So it returns you an array. You have to remember this because you may assume that it's going to be, that it's just one user of ID 6. Mongo doesn't know that. So what you can do is you can give the ID underscore ID with object ID as well to find the unique, but I don't think it will still return the single object. Let's try. Technically it should, but my bad. So ID is object ID. Yeah. Oh, it did not find. Oh, underscore. The key name is underscore ID for indexes. No, it still returns multiple. There has to be one way, but yeah, underscore ID is something you can rely on for being unique, one record only, but for others you cannot. So remember that it's going to be returning an array for such cases. So you can simply find it like this. The way all you have to do is you have to give the information like this, the structure, whichever structure that you remember, whichever structure that you want user to be found by. So let's say website, you want to find a user whose website is ola.org. It's simply going to be the same way, db.users collection dot find and whose website is ola.org, right? You get the same 6 record back. How do you find something based on and condition? So you have, let's say, whose email, but I don't think I have 2 records of the same name here. So let me insert 2 records first. db.users collection dot insert many, and I'm going to be giving 2 dummy records here. Name is equal to Sachin and is equal to 44. And I'm going to giving the same record, the same name. Name is equal to Sachin. Age is equal to 55. Okay, so remember, you can have duplicate keys. It doesn't matter. For MongoDB, the way that MongoDB is going to differentiate between 2 objects is based on IDs. So you can absolutely have 2 same names, because obviously there can be 2 Sachins in the entire world, right? So you can insert 2 same records in the same document. MongoDB will not care about it. MongoDB creates an ID for that, which is, it's going to be using that ID to differentiate between these 2. So you can absolutely use the same records. Now what we want to do is we want to find all the user in my database whose name is Sachin. Okay, so the way that you can use this is the same way. Firstly, name is equal to Sachin. If you see, now I have 2 records. What if you just wanted a user whose name is Sachin and age is 44, right? So 7278 ID. You want a user whose name is Sachin and age is 55 and condition. If you haven't guessed, just simply add one more key here. So what MongoDB will do is it will find a user whose name is Sachin and age is 44. I press enter, I just get one record back. So this is nothing but AND condition. The OR condition works a little bit different way. You cannot just say there is no like OR operator here, because remember what you're passing down are straightforward JavaScript objects. You cannot add like operator in between. So the way that you have to do the OR operation is with MongoDB operators. Just like $set, there is $OR. What this takes is it takes the OR condition as an array of conditions. So the way that it's going to work is you find me user who is matching, or that means any of these criteria. So you can give the list of criteria here simply, whose name is Sachin, like this. First name is Sachin, right? Or one more condition, age is 55 this time. So find me a user whose name is either Sachin or this. So it doesn't matter if this condition matches or this condition matches, you'll get the record back. Whenever MongoDB is going to look for this record in your entire database, if either of these condition matches, it will return that record to you. So now if I run this, you get two records back. Why? Because for the first record, name is Sachin. So this condition matched. So you got the first record. For second record, we are not checking name, but age is matching. Age is 55. So you also got this record as well. So this is how you can make the OR operator, the OR function. Okay. There are other features as well here. Like you want to do, let's say you don't want to, even if you find all these records, now this works on every single find. Okay. This is very interesting. If you just want to get one record back, you can say limit 1 on every single find. No matter how many records find returns, limit 1 is gonna just return one record out of it. So if you just say db.usersCollection.find, give me each and every record back, but limit 10, or let's say 5, you're gonna get only first 5 records. So you have 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you're gonna get only 5 records. So this will be helpful for only paginating your data. You don't return each and everything when when client asks. Remember, client is going to have pagination feature, UI. Client is going to ask, give me 11 to 20 records. That means you're going to need to limit 10, but you want to give 11 to 20. So what you have to do is you have to write skip how many. So what this will do is it's going to skip first 10 and then return 11 onwards. So if you run this, you get 11 onwards, but you don't have like more than 12 records. So yeah, you're getting only these two. If you just write limit, let's say 2 and skip 0 first, you get John and Jack, right? But if you write skip 2, you'll not get John and Jack, you'll get the next 2, ID 1 and ID 2. This is how you can paginate between data. This is how user front end will be asking the data for 11 to 20, and you'll be sending based on limit and skip. The another feature is also you can do this. Let me remove skip and limit. You can sort. Okay, so the way that this works is it's gonna by default sort everything based on IDs. You can just directly say sort. Otherwise, you can also provide the conditions if you want to, let's say, sort by only name, age, email, and so on. So there is many things on find that you can do. Because remember, finding operation is the most common operation. MongoDB is the read first database. It's going to give you so many features to find the database, filter, sort, limit, paginate, or any other thing that you want to do. Many such features are available onto the find function. Find is not, it's not just one function to get the data. It has multiple ways to get the data by operators and all those things. Okay, so try it out. Make sure you try on this few simple database at least. If you want, like I can give you the database that I use was this JSON placeholder.typicode.com/users. You can use this database. It's going to give you the same 10 users back. You can generate it yourself as well. But yeah, otherwise, that's it for this video. Thank you for joining. I'll see you guys next time.